Well, you may notice that I look different. Um, it's one of the few times a year that I fully shave my face, and it's every November 1st, and there's a reason for that. Um, so I'm gonna talk about that the majority of this video. I'll elaborate how the last 2 weeks went. I think started Catalyst Athletics program. I've been doing a lot of triples on the main lifts, which has obviously been quite taxing, but they're getting a lot easier, from a cardiovascular standpoint. Um, Worked up to 75 kilo triples for snatch, 100 kilo triples for cleans, 98 kilo triples for clean and jerks. And then we've been doing sets of 8 for back squat. So this was, it was like one set of 8 at 116, and then 3 sets of 8 at 125. And this was pretty hard. But I ended up doing heavier, sets of 5 on Friday and stuff, and squats are responding really well. Honestly, everything is responding pretty well. Had a really good day Friday. I did a heavier snatch plus overhead squat than I did the previous week at 93 kilos, and I actually did 110 for a clean and jerk plus jerk. That's probably some of the best clean and jerks I've done in quite a while, so I can only really be happy with that. But the majority of this video, I would like to talk about why I shave my face. So every November for the last 7 years now, I've participated in a movement, charity, whatever you want to call it, called Movember. The purpose of this movement is aimed at health disparities that men face, all around the world, right? But some demographics are a little bit more at risk or highlighted for various reasons, right? But the main basis of Movember is focusing on men's mental health, awareness, decreasing stigma surrounding it. The fact that every 60 seconds, and it might be even more at this point, around the world, a man takes his own life. And that's much higher in different demographics, like African American, at least in the US, is much higher. Indigenous males is astronomically high, which is just really defeating. So aside from mental health and suicide, it focuses on prostate and testicular cancer as well, two of the cancers that are specific to males. Helping people understand the prevalence, how to make sure you're getting screened at appropriate times. So there's multiple ways to participate in Movember. The most socially acceptable way, I guess you could say, is you grow a mustache throughout the entirety of the month, and you only grow a mustache. So you're not growing a beard, you're only growing a mustache. And that's silly and goofy for some people, right? But that's the point, is that they see you growing a mustache and they ask you, hey, what is that for? And then that starts the conversation about why you're doing it, right? You can talk about, hey, have you talked to your male friends in a while, and really asked how they're doing, right? Not just like the casual everyday, oh, hey, how are you? Good. And you? Good. No, but like really, like, how are you feeling lately? Like, tell me about it from your own perspective. Or, do you have a male figure in your life that's suffered from prostate cancer or testicular cancer, right? Things like that. Other ways to participate are through fundraising. So I have my own fundraiser associated with my Movember page, and I actually met my donation goal in the first 3 or 4 days of the month, which is really awesome. The people I surround myself around, people I work with, people I have worked with, family members, whatever, I don't know if they look forward to the Movember thing every year, but seemingly every year I hit my donation goal, and that's really rewarding to a point for me, because Movember posts, like a pretty lengthy report every year as to how they obtain fundraising, what they do with their funds that they do receive from donors or people like myself who conduct the fundraisers. Um, and it really goes to a lot of variety of things. The majority of it is either starting up or maintaining the programs that are associated with the main aspects that I talked about: the men's mental health, suicide prevention, and awareness, prostate cancer, testicular cancer. So there's specific programs set up in very at-risk areas around the world, depending on what country you live in, that are funded and started up by those funds. Other big ways that the money is used is through research. So obviously, like, medical research is going to be quite expensive when you talk about, like the cancer stuff, right? But it really goes, and it's improved. It's funded like clinical trials for different chemotherapy regimens for prostate cancer, and it's definitely helped with other aspects of treatment as well, whether it goes to like screening or just like overall awareness of it. Because while testicular cancer isn't extremely lethal from a healthcare perspective, thankfully, it really takes away a lot of what it means to be a man. If you receive treatment for it, and that can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people, of course, right? But stuff like that, prostate cancer is kind of in the same vein. So Movember is pretty important to me. Thankfully, I haven't, gone through a personal experience or had a close friend or family member take their own life. I'm very thankful for that. Thankfully, I haven't had a personal or very close friend or family go through cancer, right? Of course, I've dealt with depression, and pretty much everyone has, right, to varying degrees. But working as a nurse in the hospital, I've seen the effects of a lot of this stuff that Movember is aimed at. People who have attempted to take their own life, and they're very lost and seemingly have no support, right? Or people facing prostate cancer in the midst of the intense treatment that goes along with that, and not one person asks them how they're feeling about it the entirety of their stay or the entirety of their treatment outside of the hospital, right? Of course, you're going to deal with the male stigma around asking for help and showing emotion and stuff like that. And, it's just important that, of course you're there for your friends and you're there for everyone, but, from male to male, we're there for each other because, there's pretty specific challenges that come with being a male, and, especially depending on what area of the world you live in or what area of the country you live in or whatever. But it's just a really great thing. And I hope that even if you watch this video, I'm not anticipating anyone's going to donate from it necessarily or anything like that, but talk to your friends, reach out to your male friends, just be there for each other, because everyone's facing different challenges, and you're never going to know unless you talk to someone about it. So I'll post my Movember link in my bio, and I'll try to get it on this video as well throughout. But regardless, I appreciate everyone that comments and talks to me and stuff. That means a lot when I've got stuff going on. So thanks.